Hello from COP24 from the Polish city of Katowice, where this climate conference is rolling into its second week. And I'm delighted to introduce you all to the woman that's going to be taking over from Jonathan Taylor, who we met last week, as the European Investment Bank's next Vice President in charge of climate action and the environment, Emma Navarro. Thanks for joining us, Emma.
Thank you very much.
Emma, you've come to COP. You're taking over officially, actually, at the beginning of next year. You're already pretty busy. Give me a sense of what you think the big challenges are ahead for you as the Vice President of Climate Change and also the bank as a whole.
Well, thank you. Let me first tell you that I will be very glad to take over climate change, that this is a huge responsibility. First, because this is the challenge of our generation. Second, because this is at the center of our mission at the EIB, a huge responsibility. And third, also because the bar is very high after the outstanding job that Jonathan is making.
And the challenges ahead, how do you see them?
Well, I think that we have three challenges. First is that we need to be aligned to Paris. Second, we need to scale up financing for climate projects. And third, we need to continue our closely collaboration with our fellow MDBs because in climate, as a global challenge, we cannot do it alone.
As you say, the multilateral development banks, those partnerships are really key, and you'll be meeting Laura Tuck from the World Bank, I think, in a moment as well. And that's been one of the issues the MDBs have been talking about here as well, the issue of Paris alignment. Now, what does that actually mean for an institution like the European Investment Bank?
Well, in our case, it means that we look at everything that we do with climate lens. And in fact, we have very developed procedures to ensure that this is the case. And we have committed to be 100% fully aligned with Paris already in 2020.
So that's an ambitious goal, but doable, I guess.
Yes. It's we are totally on track. In fact, we have very developed procedures, and we already do a lot to ensure this commitment.
Now, the issue here at the COP24 obviously is about lowering the temperatures, and that involves the mitigation aspect, the renewable energy, those kinds of projects, but also the adaptation, the work that the international community is prepared to do for communities affected by climate change. How important is that, do you think, in your view?
Well, that is very important. In fact, mitigation and adaptation should be hand in hand. And here at the Katowice, we have heard a lot about not letting people behind. We also are fully committed to ensure this is the case. In fact, not letting people behind means addressing climate threats for the most vulnerable, and they are also in Europe. This is something that it is affecting every country. And the EIB, as an institution that is also focused on social impact and social responsibilities, this is very high on the agenda.
Yeah, and as a lot of people have been saying, that climate action is not just a climate project, but a social one as well. So this issue of the just transition is very timely.
Yes, of course. If that's the case, that's what I am saying. We should not leave people behind. We should address climate change, also considering the social impact.
Emma, we had at the EIB a survey which we presented actually last week here at COP24, which looked at citizens' attitudes to climate change and climate action as well. There was a lot of work also on attitudes in your country, in Spain. What kind of findings struck you? What did you find most interesting about that survey?
Well, I think that survey had very interesting results. First of all, it showed that the most concerned countries in terms of climate threats are Southern European countries. Spain was number 5, Portugal was number 1, but also Greece, Cyprus, and Malta. And those are, in fact, countries that are very much affected by the threats of climate change. It also shows that in those countries, awareness is very high. In Spain, 87% are aware of the threat that the climate change represents. Also, the fact that the younger generations are more aware, that is a very important result, but also the sentiment that climate change will harm the economy.
That's important, isn't it? So there isn't really an understanding, or people aren't seeing anyway, that there could be economic benefits attached to climate action. Do you think that's something where the EIB and others have got to work a bit harder in order to have debates about this issue and perhaps inform people more?
Absolutely. We need to adapt our economies in order to mitigate and to address the threat of climate change. But this will, of course, bring opportunities for many businesses. This is a change, but it's also opportunity. And we need to undertake those changes, also considering the social impacts that we will have.
Big challenges ahead. Challenges I know you're going to be grappling with as the year ends. Thank you very much, Emma. That's all from me and the new Vice President for Climate Action, who'll be taking on the great responsibility at the beginning of next year. Bye for now. See you soon.